So, Joe Braun, assistant professor in epidemiology, and also in the section for environmental health. So broadly, my research group is looking at whether or not early life environmental exposures affect a variety of childhood disorders, including things like neurodevelopmental disorders like ADHD or autism, growth and obesity, so looking at rapid growth in the first few years of life, as well as cardiometabolic risk markers like excess insulin resistance, as well as alterations in lipid profiles. And we're interested in a wide range of environmental agents that, of which exposure occurs at multiple time points during life, including during gestation, infancy, childhood, and even now thinking about exposures that occur before conception. So we look at things like chemicals. So bisphenol A, which is something many of you have probably heard about in the news, is a chemical that people are worried about that's in polycarbonate plastics, but also our old toxicant friends like lead and things like other persistent pollutants like DDT. So we've been looking at those as well. Working with Greg Wallenius, we've been looking at air pollution and even now thinking about looking at things like noise. And also I have some interest in looking at nutritional factors, things like folate, both during pregnancy and childhood. This work is done within the context of several prospective pregnancy and birth cohort studies that are in Ohio, Massachusetts, and Canada. So we work with a variety of investigators who have enrolled pregnant women and followed them and their children in some cases up until the children are 12 years of age. So shovel-ready projects. So we've got lots of data, and we never have enough people to do anything with all the things we want to do with it. So there's several things that are sort of ready to go, and this is just a flavor of 3 things that potential students or trainees could come into the group and work on. We've had some interest in looking at herbal and supplement use among pregnant Canadian women. We have some very detailed data about product use of herbals and supplements during pregnancy. It'd be interesting just to know descriptively, what do women use during pregnancy? And then among those things that they use a lot of, are there some things that are really bad, in terms of the herbal itself being biologically active, or knowledge that some of these herbals and supplements actually have contaminants in them like lead or other heavy metals. We've also had some interest in looking at prenatal caffeine consumption and childhood adiposity in our cohort in Cincinnati. There's some rodent evidence from rodent studies suggesting that caffeine consumption during pregnancy can actually affect cardiac development. And so we're interested in looking at least preliminarily at adiposity and fat deposits in the children, and then maybe extending that into some of the work we're doing on cardiometabolism at our most recent study visit. The other thing Greg Wallenius and I have thought about, and actually have just been recently talking about, is looking at things like early life noise and child neurodevelopment or other child health outcomes. So trying to link noise and then also think about how this plays into the context with other built environment characteristics like air pollution, green space, and blue space.